Hello, everybody, and welcome to another edition of Olney on Air, episode 11, Kimberly.
Whoop, whoop.
I'm Gina Keating, editor and publisher of the Olney Enterprise.
And I'm Kimberly Smith, executive director of the Olney Chamber of Commerce. Thank you so much for joining us.
And just to make sure that everybody knows, we have a couple of extra hosts in our recording studio as it is. We have Vera,
Yes.
your little girl, and also, as always, Will Sadler, the Enterprise's trusty photojournalist. Say hi, Will.
Hello.
Every week we sit down with the people shaping the future of Olney and Young County, and today we're talking about something that's going to have a visible impact on downtown for years to come. But before we get to our guest, let's take a quick look at what's inside this week's Olney Enterprise.
It's another packed issue this week.
It really is. One of my favorite stories is about House of Mercy Enterprises transforming the old Olney Clinic into affordable transitional housing. Our photojournalist, Will Sadler, took a tour of the project and said it's very exciting to see another vacant building getting new life while also helping address Olney's housing shortage. Right, Will?
Yes.
Housing continues to be one of the biggest issues facing our community.
It really is. We also have an update on Project Saltworks near Graham. Stream Data Centers has reached an agreement to purchase Plug Power's former hydrogen plant site and its valuable electric grid connection. It doesn't guarantee the project will happen, but it's another significant step toward making that $10 billion development a reality.
And that story has generated a lot of conversation all across Young County.
It certainly has. We've also put together a resource guide for families struggling with high electric bills, thanks to Will, who pointed out that problem in our community. And so I got a list of places that people can call, resources where they can get help with not only utilities, but also rental assistance. And I checked on the statistics for what the need is lately, and it in fact is increasing according to Texas state statistics. So good call, Will.
There's also a story about the Olney Police Department's recent drug arrest, increased traffic enforcement on golf carts and side-by-sides, and expanded code enforcement around town.
Plus the Refuge's Christmas in July camp, a new safe exchange zone at the courthouse for child custody exchanges and marketplace transactions, coverage of the McClatchy Golf Tournament, our regular columns, sports, community calendar, and much more. So be sure to pick up a copy around town or subscribe to have it delivered every week. We truly appreciate your support because every subscription helps us continue local journalism right here in Olney. Sorry.
One of the stories we talked about with Mayor Rogers last week is something we're really excited about because people are actually going to start seeing it take shape on Main Street.
That's the biggest goals of the Olney Economic Development Corporation isn't just attracting new businesses, it's helping the businesses we already have succeed. For years, we've all talked about how beautiful downtown Olney could be if some of our historic buildings received a little extra attention. Well, the OEDC is launching a new facade improvement program designed to help property owners renovate storefronts, restore historic character, and encourage new investment downtown.
It's one of several initiatives underway as the OEDC works on housing, business recruitment, downtown revitalization, and community development. And joining us today is the man leading many of those efforts, Executive Director Tom Parker.
Tom, welcome back to Olney on Air. We're really glad you're here.
Thank you again for having me.
Okay, we've been hearing about the new downtown facade program for a while now. I wrote a story about it. Okay, so can you tell people what the facade program is?
Sure. The facade program, as it's currently envisioned, and it is a project that is in process, is to take one block of downtown. And in this case, we're looking basically from Grand Avenue heading east, that block, north and south sides of the block, and help the building owners enhance the exterior of the buildings in a meaningful way. We brought in the Grossmans from Mansfield a couple years ago to do a study of downtown from a sidewalk, lighting, and then facade program. They gave us design elements that we could use and apply to create a more cohesive, uniform look to downtown. That's all been now funded by the EDC. We've stood up a $50,000 matching grant program.
Yay.
To allow building owners to do hopefully meaningful projects and bring the facades level that everyone can enjoy, and that gives us a cohesive look for people that pass through and that stop on a daily basis.
Okay, and Vera wants to talk about it as
That's
well.
great.
You know,
Hopefully she's going to love it.
I think she will love it because we all will. So a while ago, I used AI with the Grossman plans to show what Olney would look like in 2026 if this actually started going, and it looked super cool.
And it really can. There's some really simple things that they laid out, incorporating lighting into awnings that are fairly economical to source and install. We don't need to bring in great big construction companies to do that. I'm working with 3 groups currently that are looking from a design build standpoint, taking these designs that Grossman has created for us and looking at using various methods of construction to bring those to fruition. I'll give you an example. The Chamber building, the Chamber of Commerce building that we're in, used to be a movie theater. And through its various iterations, different funding opportunities and different programs that have been used on Main Street, we've removed the character of that building to where we've got a metal, actually it's a cedar facade that's at the top and a metal aluminum awning that transitions from the hotel down the block. It's really not unique. It doesn't give the building sort of the aha that you want for people to have when they come looking for your Chamber of Commerce. So we're looking at taking that awning off, removing that facade that's there currently, but due to some repairs that we were doing in a front restroom, we found that the window sections and much of the brickwork that originally were on the building have been removed. And we're going to have to go back with something that is more constructive and not less restorative. It's going to actually be something that has to be structural so we can hang these awnings and these signs and lighting off of that building. Just like any repair, any homeowner runs into this, and any business that gets into these older buildings, you never know what you're going to find when you peel back that first layer of paint. You can end up having a $10,000 job, could be a $100,000 job in really short order.
Yeah. So, I mean, from my understanding of the Grossman, when you guys were talking with Grossman's, it's going to be like, I thought it was going to be, like you said, removing facades that are not historically accurate and then restoring them in any way that you can with what's under there, plus lighting and awnings just to make it look, and we're just doing it from like where the Enterprise building is down to Grand, right?
Actually, it's Grand to C.
Oh, so Grand to C.
Grand
okay.
to C. That's the first block, and we chose that block because the EDC owns the Hamilton Hotel that's on the corner.
Right.
We knew that we would have fairly good participation from those folks that are in that area. We're not saying you have to do any of this. We're trying to be cooperative and making sure that everybody has resources to get done what we hope everyone will want for a look for downtown Olney.
Okay. So your question.
So why did the OEDC decide that this was something Olney needed right now?
We looked outward to other communities to see what they did and how they facilitated this in their communities. What we didn't want to do is, like I referred to earlier, we're not demanding that anybody do anything. We want to make this a community effort. 1. 2, money. You have to look at how you can step through this and be able to complete this. $50,000 on a matching basis puts $100,000 into a block, which should do some fairly pertinent improvements to those buildings.
Okay, so, all right. So, how is this going to work? So that is a lot of money, $100,000 just on facades. But can you?
Well, $50,000. It's 50. We're doing 50,000.
Right, but if it's matching,
yes.
Like the impact is 100,000. So just because I'm terrible with geography, let's talk about which buildings are in it first. So it's the Hamilton Hotel,
the Chamber of Commerce, the Florist,
the
drugstore, Archer and Gun,
right,
and then main house are
Okay.
on this side of the block.
right, and
Then on the north side is my home on
Right.
the corner, and then the dentist.
oh my gosh,
And then, so you keep going west from there. So you got the dentist, and then Hudson's. Well,
Right.
actually, there's a building in between
yeah,
where Spencer
Spencer's,
is.
right,
And then Hudson's, and then Lynn Bernhardt's got a couple of buildings there.
Right.
And then we get to what had been the stained glass shop, the purple shop. That's been a couple of different gift shops recently. And then the old, what I call the cigarette store, the old convenience store that was there. And then Cub Nutrition is there. And then we go to Branham is on the corner, and then he also owns the building on the end. We're trying to work with the city on removing the solar street lights that are in those little small lights that they were good when we first started. That was a great effort to get that done, but the technology is just not there to give a meaningful light source with the state street lights that are there because of Highway 114. So by putting the lighting back in under the awnings, it'll better light the facade of the store and give some active area there underneath. It won't be quite so dark in the evening along Main Street.
okay, so, I mean, let's talk about how this would work first.
It's fairly simple. There's a short set of paperwork. It's just to show who owns the building, and then get at least 2 quotes on what kind of work you want to have completed. Get those estimates. There'll be a vetting process. There's a group of the board members that are going to do the pre-work on it, and then we're going to work with all of the building owners that will participate. Nobody has to do it, but if they'll help us go through this, sort of rank who goes first, what's going to give us the best bang for our buck as we go forward. And then the work is paid for by the building owner and then reimbursed 50% up to $5,000 per 25-foot front. And I'm saying that because some of these storefronts are 50 to 75 feet wide. So take like Olney Floral, that's double width. So
Right.
there's actually $10,000 worth of matching funds that's there. So she does 20, 10 of that can be paid by the OEDC to get that work done. So that's where the ranking comes in. How do we get the most bang for our buck as we go through this thing? And this won't end. The EDC plans on annually continuing this program and adding to it. So this 50 that's what we have this year. Budget-wise, we most likely, board's got to approve it, we're most likely to go to 75,000 next year.
Wow.
Just because we probably won't be finished in this block.
Right.
We're getting started very late, but we would really like to allocate and spend this first 50 this year and get it going.
When you say year, fiscal year? Or?
Fiscal year.
Okay.
It ends October 1. So between now and October 1, if we could get 2 or 3 projects that are already ready to go, then we can get them approved, annotate that money, and then we don't actually have to write the check, but it's been spent, I'm doing air quotes, so that's there, and then we allocate another 75 for next year. That'll put a lot of money on Main Street.
That would be amazing.
That would be so good. Yeah.
So would you go for another different block with that next 75 or?
We'll open it up and allow, once you get the first year, open to another block, and we're anticipating that we go east, so to the block that City Hall and the Enterprise is in, go that way, and then those 2 blocks would be available to do projects, but we've got to get it started.
For the program, who can apply?
Any building owner, if you own a building within that footprint, you can apply.
So nonprofit. So when you move to that, nonprofits and
Anyone.
churches could also participate.
Anyone
That's
that's
awesome.
within the footprint. But we're concentrating on the area that the CDBG grant was secured for. So it will be primarily, at least for the next 2 years, it'll be the 3-block area that incorporates the CDBG grant because of the sidewalk and lighting funds that are available there. Again, trying to concentrate spending that money in a spot where it's meaningful.
Okay, so the CDBG grant is the community development block grant for to fix the sidewalks and to add the lighting that you just talked about.
Correct.
Okay.
Correct.
And so what are they going to do? What are you going to do to the sidewalks?
That's a city thing. I don't know what they're going to do. We had suggested if you've been to Austin lately, or if you've been, which I just was, but Austin and Fort Worth, Sundance Square, a lot of municipalities, what they've done in areas where they've had to do infrastructure repairs, you can't match that brick. And we have that situation here. This brick isn't readily available.
Wow.
So maybe go in and do some mosaic, again, air quotes, mosaic kind of work on that sidewalk. Potentially some medallions, cast medallions that could be put in for either address numbers or
Oh, neat.
directing people to certain things within town. There's lots of things that could be done that you don't have to go back with just a replica of what's there now or trying to match it. I don't think it'll be very successful if we do. And it's very expensive to tear out and replace.
How quickly do you expect to approve projects?
As soon as we can put a board together. I would say by the end of August, we've got things approved.
Oh, man. Okay, so realistically, when do you think people driving through downtown are going to start noticing the changes?
This type of construction typically takes 60 to 90 days to really begin in any earnest.
Mm-hmm.
There'll be some demo that's got to happen. They'll see that first. That's kind of the ugly part of the process. But I would think, personally, what I'm trying to do is get some of these projects done so that by Christmas, when we decide what we're going to do for Christmas lights this year, that we've got some new places to hang lights. So by Christmas, that we've got some of these projects completed.
Olney has several exciting projects happening at once. We have housing, downtown revitalization, airport development, industrial recruitment. How does the facade program fit into that larger vision?
Well, the whole purpose of our exercise is to recruit and retain people in the community. If you've got an area that's inviting and well lit and looks like something's happening, that just helps people want to stay.
Yeah, for sure.
Get them to stop, then we'll get them to stay.
Right, exactly.
I remember during the discussion about this, you talked about Coleman as a town that was
yeah.
kind of like what you were looking for.
Coleman did a great job with their economic development in downtown.
Like, what struck you about Coleman particularly that made you want to do this?
Okay, so at the time I was still on city council. That Coleman did theirs with no municipal input at all.
Oh.
The community did it.
Oh, okay.
And we're hoping that this is the catalyst to get the community to do this.
Oh, very good.
So a little bit of assistance on the financial side, maybe we get everybody tuned in and actually getting this thing moving.
What would you say to a business owner who's interested but worried the project might be too expensive or too complicated?
Let's have a conversation, see if we can't help.
Okay, so they should call you, right?
Yes,
At
absolutely.
OEDC.
Yep.
Like, how can they get a hold of you? What's your number or email or whatever that you want to share?
Email is probably the best way, so we got a trail and I can get it to the people that need to help with it. That's tparker@olneyedc.com.
Okay, tparker@olneyedc.com.
Correct.
Okay.
Fast forward 5 years. If this program is successful, what do you hope Main Street looks like?
This is really just the start of what Main Street should look like. I think in 5 years, I would hope that we've found a way to better utilize downtown by adding some mixed use, residential on a second story for some of these single story buildings.
Oh, yeah.
We're in conversation with some folks on that. That brings your densities and your walkability gets so much better, and then people stop.
Is there anything residents can do, even if they don't own a business, to help downtown succeed?
Spend money here.
Right.
Yeah.
Come
Buy
see what we
local,
have.
Shop local.
Yeah, the whole idea of downtown is if we don't use it, it won't be here.
Yeah.
We're going to work on a few things, but there's an entrepreneurial path that I think needs to happen for downtown. We need to help with that. That's a potential for some of these buildings here as well, that we need to bring what I call micro businesses, other people call micro business. I think that's a good description of it. We need to bring some micro businesses to Olney to see if we can't help stand them up and turn them into a regional giant at some point. We'll see how that goes.
What's a micro business?
Somebody that has an idea at the kitchen table and they want it to be on the interweb, as people say, and get out there and be available locally and nationally and internationally. We want to help people do that.
That would be
Yeah.
3D
fantastic.
printing, laser, what do you want to do? We need to get some industry and some activity on Main Street.
Yeah, absolutely. I know the chamber, part of our mission statement is promote economic vitality. And I think it's been really great talking with you about your plans and all of us coming together to make sure that 20 years down the line that Olney's still standing and that we're thriving, not just surviving.
Yeah,
We
yeah.
want it to thrive. And a big part of that is going to be having some place where people want to come. And
Yes.
I think we've even tossed around different ideas for the chamber, getting people here, like a sanctioned barbecue cook-off event, doing a street dance, like trying to bring in people from outside of here.
Sure.
And it's almost like, what's the movie? If you build it, they will come. You know,
Right.
it's you got to have that.
Field of Dreams.
Field of Dreams.
Yes.
Main Street of Dreams. Is that what we're doing?
Yes, we got to. You have to have it, and any time that we can work with the EDC, I think it's so important that we
Yes.
join forces and get together. What are some ways, and just trying all these different things, like what can we get the people actually show up for?
Yes.
And
people from outside. I think one of the greatest challenges is what you've been successful with Olney in America, is getting what I'll call local regional people to participate in things in Olney. We need the Newcastles and the Archer cities and
McGargle,
to
all of them,
McGargle
yeah.
and all of them to come through and make sure that we can help them make sure that this part of Texas is viable, vibrant, and we don't have to go to Fort Worth. We don't have to go to Wichita Falls.
Right.
We love them as neighbors, but we don't have to spend all of our time and money there. We need to do it more regionally.
right, absolutely.
When you think about what could be happening, I have a story in this week's paper about Stream getting closer and closer to securing everything they need to put the data center here. Do you feel like we could jump on board that train and get more people to come through Olney?
I think by the location of any of that development, whether it's in Archer City or in Archer County or Young County, or Jack County, because of the road system that's here, we're going to see that spillover and traction of those folks to the market.
Yeah.
So if we have these things here, they will come because they're going to be here.
Yes, exactly. So put it here, and yeah, I think it would be fantastic. So, okay, so last question. When someone drives through downtown Olney, okay, because we're talking about if everything happens with the data center, that it's going to be 3 or 4 years before construction starts, right? You think about 2 to 3 years?
True.
What do you want people to notice first about downtown Olney?
It's safe and it's quiet.
Yeah.
I think Olney's two greatest points are that it's safe. A community of our size and with the services and products that are here, by that I mean hospitals, schools, business, industry. Not every West Texas town with this population and this type of diversity is safe. And we have a very safe community.
We do. And then we just have some amazing, very unique things here in terms of the businesses and
Yes.
the quality of the businesses as well.
That's correct.
So anyway. All right. Well, thank you so much for
Thank you,
joining
Tom.
us. I really appreciate it.
Sure.
Cubs fans, can you feel it all across Olney? The countdown to football season is on. The Cubs have spent the summer in the weight room, on the practice field, and building toward what everyone hopes will be an exciting fall. And there is a real buzz around town. Fans are eager to see what this year's team can accomplish under head coach Dustin Altmiller, who returns for his second season leading the Cubs. Coach Altmiller grew up right here in Olney, and his passion for Cub football is contagious. His players believe in him, the community is behind him, and there is a growing sense that this program is headed in the right direction. Joining me today are Coach Altmiller and Reed Mankins, the familiar voice who will be bringing Cub football to listeners all season long. Reed will share what fans can expect from this year's broadcast, while Coach Altmiller gives us an inside look at the team, the culture he's building, and what Cub fans should watch for as the kickoff draws near. So let's talk Cub football. Here's my conversation with Olney Athletic Director and head football coach Dustin Altmiller and Reed Mankins. Hi, Coach Altmiller. Welcome to Olney on Air.
Hey, how are you?
I'm good.
Good.
So this is your second season leading the Cubs. Also, I just want to say hi to Reed Mankins. He's here as well to help me out with all the football technicalities.
Yeah, for sure.
Hi, Reed. Thanks for coming. Okay, so I'm going to start out and then you jump in too. Okay, so this is your second season leading the Cubs. How does this team feel different from the one you inherited last year?
It's nice coming in and actually having a relationship with the players. Coming in last year, I didn't know anybody. I didn't know the coaches. I didn't know the players. And so it was jumping in, and everybody was just a fill-out year, trying to see how everybody's going to act and react. So coming into this year, I think the number one thing I'm most excited about is having that relationship with the players, and they know what to expect out of us. We know what to expect out of them, and that's how growth happens. We can easily bounce ideas off of each other and bounce different things off of each other and know how we're going to react to what we do, and be able to go in and make changes and adjust as we need to, and we're all going to be on the same page a whole lot better than we were last year.
You made some changes, right? Again, not an expert, but Will did go to the games and told me that there were some changes that you made in the offense about how we play that's different from the past. So can you talk about that a little bit?
Well, I think Coach Guy was probably the previous coach with the most success, and it was another fear the veer kind of thing. And I've coached the last probably 15 years in a spread style offense that's more pass oriented, not as much run oriented. And Coach Hilton, our offensive coordinator, is that same kind of style of offense. And so, yeah, we spread the ball around a lot more as far as throwing the ball last year. And we really relied early on our pass game. And then once we found our rhythm with our run game and stuff, then we were able to really put that into the mix, become a lot more two-dimensional than one-dimensional.
All right.
Yeah, so Coach, it seemed like this summer, just following the Olney Athletic Facebook page, there seemed to be quite a bit of buy-in from the kids in terms of speed camp, strength and conditioning, and it looked like the numbers were really good. And so just speak to that. And did you see, I know last year about this time you were just kind of wheels screeching coming into town. So, but it seems like the buy-in's been there this summer of kids saying, hey, okay, we're willing to put in the work in the off season to get better in the fall when the season rolls around.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. That's what I'm excited about. Summertime is so hard because it's summertime. It's your chance to get away. It's a chance to get away as an athlete. It's a chance to get away as a coach a little bit and just kind of take a step back and rest and relax. But UIL's been doing this for quite a while now, allowing kids to come up and coaches to be with them in the summer. And so I've got a love-hate relationship with summer workouts. I really do. But our kids really bought in this year on both sides. Coach Tar, our girls coordinator, he really pushes the weights and agility for them too. And we actually spent the spring working out together, both boys and girls, in the weight room. And we try to create that family atmosphere, that we're all in this together. And girls came up at the same time the boys came up and did the exact same thing that the boys are doing. And it really, I think, helps. It helps that the kids know that we care about them, that we want the best for them, and we're going to take care of them. And again, it goes back to those relationships that we talked about at the beginning. We're trying to develop those positive relationships with them, and they understand that. A lot of the coaches were up there this summer working with the kids. It wasn't just me. And again, that's going to take a step forward in the right direction of where we want it to be in all of our programs, not just football, volleyball, cross country. That'll lead into basketball. That leads into softball and baseball and powerlifting and track and golf. We want everything to be successful. And so just super proud of them for coming up and buying in and starting the season off on the right foot.
So, Coach, if you're a Cub fan, you've gone to the games, or if you're a Cub fan, you listen to the games. You know, kind of listen to the game. Sorry, you know the names of Tucker Cortinez, Jamarcus Collins, Damian Hernandez. Who are some as guys that have been working out this summer, or you've seen progress over the spring? Who are some of the guys that maybe you didn't hear their name a ton last year, but you might hear their name a little more this year that you're expecting to make a contribution?
Well, the first people I always have to point out is our offensive line. That offensive line, we've had that conversation with them before, that it doesn't matter how good your skilled kids are, how fast they are. If we don't have anybody up front that can take care of the defensive line, it doesn't matter. And so, Jacob Gallardo, Jacoby Esquivel, we've got AJ Solano that has really helped and stepped up. Kanan Beavers has a really good. Those guys, I'm telling you right now, they are something special. The work that they've put in, and not only as far as the strength goes, but the agility, the way they move their feet. They're a pretty special little group, and we're really excited to see how well they progress. And the fact that they're all juniors, they got thrown to the fire last year as sophomores and really kind of got bullied a little bit. And it wasn't their fault. It's just that's how it had to be. and I think they've grown up a lot. A lot of them did powerlifting. A lot of them had a lot of success in powerlifting this year, and so we're just really excited to see what that group can do for sure. And then of course you have a couple of your kids that got injured last year that were kind of out because of injuries. Will Caffey has had a really good spring and a really good summer. We're really impressed with what he's done as far as getting ready to go. Noah Lambrera is another one. He was kind of a role player last year. He didn't get a whole lot of reps in, and he's bought in. He's been up to a lot this summer. A lot of our football skill sessions that we did, we're really excited about him and the opportunities that he can bring too.
Okay, so I'm not an expert at this at all, but I did do a story about being in a different division. So can you talk about that a little bit? Like, who are we facing and how is this going to be different?
Yeah, it's just, you get out of that district that we were in. Stanford dropped down and they're state ranked in Division II now. And so they were really good last year. They're really good again this year. Cisco and Holly, we get out of that district with them and Stanford, and we jump into a new district now. Obviously, we've got Munster in there, and Munster did a lot of really good things last year. Alvord won their district last year. They're a really good team. Tioga has they back-to-back state champions in track. A lot of those guys play football. They're going to be really tough to beat. We've got Nakona in there. We've got Chico in there. Of course, we played Chico in pre-district last year and beat them in a thriller. So it's going to be a very competitive district. There's still going to be some tough teams in there, but I think as a whole, it's going to be a fight week in and week out in that district for sure.
Now you.
No, Coach broke it down really good, but. It's where Olney falls. If you look at the map and district maps of towns our size, whether you go Division I or Division II, you're going to be in a district with some really tough folks. We had at one point over the last year to 2 years, the teams that he mentioned, Holly, Stanford, Cisco, Anson, all of those teams were ranked in the top 25 at some point or another, and many times ranked in the top 10. And so. And on one breath, you're like, whew, I get to get away from that. But then you turn right around and, like I said, you get, congratulations, you get the back-to-back defending state champion in your district now. And Tioga and Alvord, if you read Dave Campbell's magazine that comes out, or it just come out, they've got Alvord in their top 25 to start the year. And so it's tough. And Olney's kind of in this spot of just no matter which way you fall, Division I, you're always going to play some tough teams. But I'm excited about the season, and like Coach mentioned, some of these guys coming back, but also the new faces that'll be contributing. I think Olney's got a really good shot at playoffs this year, and your top 2 to 3 teams are still going to be really tough, but I feel like we'll be right in the mix at a playoff spot.
Okay, so we have our first game August 28th. That's not too far away, and it's an away game, right?
It's an away game.
Okay,
that's right.
So without giving away any secrets or anything, what are you going to be looking to do and establish in that first game?
Really, it's just we're playing Quanah, so it's not a quick trip on an away game. So it's just going to be, can we handle our business? Can we make it a business trip? Can we make sure that with it being the first game, it is an away game, we're going to have a little bit more time on our hands as far as travel goes. Can we focus in and do what we need to do? Last year everything was new. It was kind of a new offense, a new defense a little bit. We're a second year in the system. It's not as new. We should know what we're doing. We should know what's going on. So, we really want to just, when we go back and look at it on film, obviously the goal is to win. That's why you keep score, and that's what we're going to go out there and strive to do. But we want to look at it on film. We want to make sure that we're ahead of where we ended the year last year.
That's my next question is what are the biggest improvements that you've seen since last year?
Well, obviously we graduated, I think, about 8 or 9 seniors. Mm-hmm. We were a young team last year. We've got a lot of kids coming back. So just being a year older, a year older in the high school level typically means you've gotten a little bit taller, you've gotten a little bit stronger, and you've matured a little bit. Things don't affect you as much as what they did. So, we're just excited about that. I think that's the biggest thing that we have going for us is that, it's basically the same coach coaches that we've had, there's been a few coaches turnover, but our offensive coordinator stayed the same, defense coordinator stayed the same. I don't do much but call timeouts, but I'm back for a second year, so I'm hoping that there's not a whole lot of extra learning that has to be going on, that we know what we're supposed to be doing, and now let's go focus in on kind of those fundamental aspects of it, not having to learn X's and O's. We know the X's and O's, so let's go get better at those little things.
All right. Okay, so Reed, the one thing everybody's going to be wondering, because we start with an away game.
Yes.
How can people hear this? How can people follow if they can't go to the game?
So you can tune in to 104.3 FM if you're in your car or if you've got a stereo. If you don't, you can go to positiveCountry.com and you can click. There's a button banner button that'll show up for 104.3. You can click on that and stream on your phone, computer, whatever. So if you're not able to make the drive, you can certainly tune in to listen. And so we'll be broadcasting all 10 football games this year. So whether it's a home game or away game, if you for whatever reason can't be there, then you'll have a chance to cheer on the Cubs.
So it'll be you and Reed Miller and Chad.
This year it will be me, myself, and Jody Wales will be calling the games.
Oh, all right.
So Jody's kind of making a comeback. So last year he was not on the broadcast team last year. His nephew was a senior at Holiday, and so he wanted to be able to support his nephew and watch his football games, and so he took a year off. We've kind of got a hybrid group. So Jody Wales will be calling the games with me. He'll be doing some color commentating. We'll do the coaches shows again during the week. Last year, I believe we did them on Wednesday or Thursday, and so we'll work that out with Coach. But we'll have our live interviews that also play during pregame of the broadcast, and that is where Reed Miller comes in and helps me interview Coach and get ready for that game. Chad will still be a part of the halftime show, having the interviews with Dr. Caffey and what all's going around Olney ISD. So as you're going to the bathroom, getting a drink or some popcorn or whatever, and taking a break from the game action, you can hear what's going around the school district.
Okay, great. Yeah, I'll ask Dustin Hudson if he's going to have that this year too, because I've actually seen some of the games at Hudson.
We were on the air I think one time last year, and they were like, "Hey, Hudson's is actually broadcasting the games at the steakhouse."
I heard it one time too. It said it was a pretty good little group that was in there.
It was really fun.
They were telling us, I think someone was texting Cade and I at the Chico game. The Chico game, like Coach said a while ago, was super exciting. Came down nail biter to the finish. We came back, ended up winning the game, and someone had messaged me and said, "Hey, I'm at Hudson's watching the game. Place is going nuts," kind of thing.
Yeah, everybody was pretty excited. Okay, so one thing I want to just talk to you about really quick, and then we'll get back to just football. But so you're going to be selling ads in that broadcast, right? So
yeah, we've got a cool kind of unique model of, the broadcasting in Olney. If you look back at history of Olney kind of broadcasting our football games, it started years ago with Jake Bailey and Rue Rogers and Chad were kind of doing some Facebook streams, and then when Tim Walker came around the area and established Positive Country in Graham, he started doing some more stuff in Olney, and churches started doing sermons on Positive Country. And then he asked one year, "Well, would you like to do Olney games?" And so I got roped into it because I was supposed to run the board for 1 week. I went to a game 3-4 years ago, and I was supposed to learn the board and run it 1 week when Chad was gone, and then I look up and I'm there every week, and then the next year I'm calling the games. And so, anyways, the station had presented wanting to broadcast the games, and so we did that for a few years, and still doing it. But the cool setup is he's allowed the Olney Athletic Booster Club to raise the funds for it to cover the cost of airtimes, and anything raised past the cost of airtime stays right here with the Olney Athletic Booster Club, and so that goes into providing meals for our athletes, gear for our athletes, all kinds of different things to help support our coaches and the athletic program. So it's a neat program. So we are taking advertising sponsorship. So not only are you supporting the Booster Club and Olney Athletics, but you're also getting advertising on the radio. And so there's a $300 business sponsorship. And so businesses can sign up. You get a 30-second professionally produced advertisement that will run at least 2 times a game for all 10 football games, and then any playoff games after that. Even if you don't have a business but you want to support, there's a $50 individual sponsorship where you or your family can put out a message that you want read over the air supporting the Cubs. And we do those twice a game as well, and roll down our call sheet and call those messages out. So good opportunities to help support. And like I said, anything that is raised past the cost of airtime stays right here in Olney.
Okay, so how can people get a hold of you if they want to do that?
So they can go to the Olney Athletic Booster Club Facebook page.
Okay.
And that Facebook page has got a link that will take you to sign up. There's options for both business and individual signups there. And if you want to pay by card, you can do it right online. If you want to pay by check, there's a button to click for that, and it'll give you my contact info to get with on picking up that check.
Okay, cool. So let's talk about the needs for the team, Coach Altmiller. I mean, when Reed talks about what's ever left over goes to equipment or whatever, what are the biggest challenges, equipment-wise, time-wise, whatever, that's different about coaching in a small town?
Really, we've got a lot of good things. There's some things that need to be updated equipment-wise here and there, but we've got ways that we can take care of that with budget. We actually signed an agreement with Game 1 out of Wichita and Under Armour that for 5 years we kind of get some bonuses in there. So we're going to be able to kind of take care of some things that way. Really, it's taking care of the kids as far as nutrition goes and as far as food goes. I know one of the big things that is always a burden is Fridays on game days. We like to feed our kids meals. A lot of times they don't really want to eat what's in the cafeteria for whatever reason. And if they don't and we don't feed them a meal, then they go a long time before playing that 7 o'clock game and not have a lot of stuff on their body. So we try to feed them. We did it last year and parents kind of stepped up and helped out. Some businesses helped donate too, but we fed them a game day meal every game last year. So 10 meals feeding those boys, they can get kind of expensive. They can eat a little bit. There's no doubt about that. And then also we like to try to give our athletes snack bags for the bus on away games. Again, just the opportunity to kind of put something in their bodies before they get ready to go out and play. And it's not just football based. We try to do it for all of our sports and take care of all of our athletes. One thing that we've kind of talked about too is trying to get maybe a refrigerator in the field house and then be able to have it stocked with chocolate milk, protein related items, something that they can grab at the end of practice to get back in their bodies and just recover from a harder day's practice. And again, that's things that we need help with. That's stuff that we don't really have funded for us to be able to do bigger items that we would need help with. And again, the Booster Club helps with that. The weight room that we have right now is not air conditioned. And when you get in there in August, it turns into a sauna. And one of the things the Booster Club did is they kind of helped buy some portable air coolers to put in there to kind of help knock down that temperature just a little bit. So like Reed said, the money that's raised goes directly back to our athletic programs to help out with those things and those items for sure.
That is fantastic. Okay, so now I just got to ask, because both of you guys grew up here, right? Mm-hmm. Did you play football, Reed?
I did.
Okay,
yep.
So you both played football. So talk about that, what that's kind of like to come back and you're calling the games and you're coaching the games. What is that like?
It's a blast. That's how I talked about how I kind of got started doing the radio stuff. But I mean, for me, that's what keeps me coming back. Is it's fun, and I love the Cubs, love supporting our team, and so it's been unique. The stadium Olney's got for a town our size. Our stadium and facilities are awesome, and I think it was last year during homecoming. As a kid growing up through high school, you had homecoming, but it was, go to the bonfire, do this and that. But last year, it was neat seeing it. I've lived in Olney back now for several years, but the stands were packed, like top to bottom. Mm-hmm. It was the most people I'd seen in that stadium in years. And, even going back through my high school days and previous, the stands were really, really full. And so it's just been a lot of fun. And, excited that Dustin's back and, hometown boy and grew up here and putting roots down again. And so it's fun to see that buy-in that he talked about keep rising. And, you've had several years where you've gone through head coaches and athletic directors. And so it's nice to, like he mentioned, this is year 2 and hey, we're here kind of thing.
Yeah, exactly. I think there's just so much excitement around you being back for a second season and how excited the kids are about you being back. So, yeah. So, I mean, what is it like to come back to Olney itself where you played and now that you had a whole year in?
Well, it's just it's surreal is a the kind of the way to put it. It's one of those deals that I got into the business, like I said last year when people asked what's it like to be back. I got into this business because of this community, because of the coaches that I had, the teachers that I had. That I knew my sophomore year of high school that this is what I wanted to do, and that's what I worked towards to get to this point. And so just to know to be on that field, that exact same field that I stood on, to be in the same weight room, and just everything's the same. To I go out to the baseball field and all that. It's surreal to know that I'm coming back to lead this program, and I put a little bit of pressure on myself for the simple fact that of what it meant to me to be a Cub and live here and everything that I did, that I want it to be the same for all of our athletes, for all of our students. This is a special place. It really is. When you've been out and you've been around, and you've as a coach, you've been to different places, you see different things and how different places are, and this really is a special place. And so to come back and be able to lead that program that kind of put me in where I'm at, that full circle moment. It's one of those things that I don't want to let anybody down. I hope everybody knows that we're doing it to get Olney, back to where everybody wants it to be.
Yeah, it's such a fun thing to go to the games. It's just a place that doesn't exist anymore in most American towns. So it's very, very special. Okay, so what else? What else have you got for Coach?
Not a lot. I mean, I'm excited. I'm ready to get the year rolling. I was looking at the schedule before walking in, and here before we know it, 2 weeks. We got scrimmage in 2 weeks, and so it seems like everyone says all the time how fast the summer flies by, but really this year, it just in the blink of an eye. I'm excited to get the season started. So, like he mentioned, go to Quanah first. There's a little bit of Olney history there. So the Quanah head coach was the offensive coordinator my junior year here with the Cubs. And so actually he had messaged me a while back and was like, hey, saw you're doing the radio stuff. Hopefully we can reconnect before the game, blah, blah, blah. And that interesting little for one season when I was in high school.
Oh my gosh.
So it's almost like it comes full circle.
That is super cool.
The head coach for Tioga, Zach Birdwell, Zach was one of my quarterbacks at Sweetwater.
Really?
So we're talking about full circle stuff. Yeah, it's wild as far as just how all that stuff works. It really is. And nothing, puts Greg in your beard a whole lot more faster than, knowing you've done it long enough to have the kids that you've coached to be in the profession.
Yeah.
So.
Oh, man, that is super cool. Okay, so now we're going to do the lightning round.
All right.
Okay, so, all right. So, Reed, what is the funniest thing that's ever happened during a live broadcast?
Oh, man, we've had a couple. One of them, maybe, I think it was like my first game of calling full time. We played Reagan County at Colorado City. We were playing Reagan County Owls at Colorado City, and somehow in my mind, the band, I combined those two, and the band Owl City kept coming out of my mouth over and over again. Chad was there. I think Jody, was doing that game with me. Jaden Briscoe was listening back home, texting in like jokes about it, and then I couldn't stop, so I kept saying anytime I was trying to say Reagan County Owls or just talk about them on offense, it came out as Owl City. So that became the joke, and I still haven't lived that down with some of those guys.
I love that band.
Yeah, well, if we've had some to keep a radio show going for another hour and a half longer than probably what it was supposed to last. Whenever they were waiting for the rain to, maybe it wasn't power. I think it was just lightning. But trying to pass time for an hour and a half with folks with no game going on was interesting. We've had some fun times.
Okay, Coach, if you had to describe this year's Cubs in just 3 words, what would they be?
Oh, man, just 3 words. Let's see. I would say determined. Mm-hmm. I really feel like we are. I would say fun because, again, it's a great group of kids to be around. Absolutely is. And I would say probably effort. And that just ties into everything that they've done in the spring and leading into the summer. So
that sounds like a perfect combination for a great football season. Okay, so one prediction, not about wins and losses, but about what Cub fans are going to be talking about after this season. Who wants to take that one? Reed?
Okay. One
prediction,
thing Cub fans are going to be talking about. I'm going to go player specific. We have a ton of kids who can do awesome things, but I think this year, I think you're going to see a breakout year from Kyle Stewart.
All right.
I'm going to call that. I'm going to go on record.
Okay.
I'm gonna call that. He played as a freshman last year and did great as a freshman. I mean, I think back to like when I was 14 years old.
Yeah.
And, he's playing varsity football. So I think you'll see him take a big step. I'm not even involved in the day-to-day like Coach is, but that's my prediction.
Okay, Coach, what about you?
I want to say growth, and growth not just in the football team, but the whole entire program. I think our kids are taking a step in a lot of positive directions. And like I said, I think everybody is determined to get to where we want to be in the playoffs. I think when I interviewed for this job, and anybody that'll listen, I'll tell them that, Mike into the playoffs. And so I really feel like, coaching staff wise, the kids understand kind of that mentality and the work that they've put in, the work that the coaches put in to get there. So I think growth. I think growth as a whole entire program is what everybody's going to be talking about. How much just everybody's moving and rowing the boat in the same way.
That's awesome. Okay, what's one message each of you would like to leave with Cub Nation as we get ready for the kickoff?
I would say, and this is coming from someone who, I'm not an employee of the radio station by any means, but I would say get to the game. If you're in Olney on a Friday night and the game's going on, be there, be loud, be proud, support the Cubs. It is, I can tell you and Coach would back this up, but as someone who played and then even not playing, you can see it on the kids. When you have a packed house full of people, it brings the energy level up so much more for the team, especially at home, knowing that, hey, all these people are behind us. Is that going to translate to a win every time? No, but the kids can feel it, and and it's awesome as a player playing in front of a packed house like that.
Awesome. What do you think?
I'm going to ditto that comment. I really am, because exactly like you said, these kids sacrifice a lot to come out and do this game. They put a lot of time into it. They put a lot of effort into it. And, it's one of those things that if you're doing all that and then you go to show up on a Friday night, you look up in the stands and, all you see is your mama sitting there, which is great. Mm-hmm. But, you kind of start thinking, well, what are we doing this for? And so, the community supports very, very well. So I know it's pretty easy to sit when it's hot outside and on your living room and turn on NFHS or listen to the support of the community to come out and root them on and cheer them on. So yeah, I'd ditto that.
All right, and plus it's a fun atmosphere. You have really great food. Especially at the home games, and then you can pick up your merch, and the tailgating stuff is fun. Yeah,
small town Texas on a Friday night is pretty unique to different football around the country because it is the communal event. It's not just, hey, I'm going to show up to a football game, but I'm going to go see these friends that I don't see usually throughout the week, or I'm going to see these people I haven't seen in a long time. And it's an interesting atmosphere. It's a lot of fun, kind of almost fun. I'm not involved in the day-to-day of the Booster Club, but I know they're going to do their Tacos and Tailgates event, the first home game, and that was a blast last year, even with some weather rolling in. Yeah. So they have tailgate event on the parking lot right outside the gym, right there by the stadiums, where you can go get some great food. Kids can play games. You got all kinds of stuff going on. So I'm looking forward to joining in on that fun again this year too. Yep, that's right. All right. Well, thanks, guys. Thanks for showing up and telling us about what's going to be happening soon. Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for having us. Okay, so that brings us to our community calendar. But instead, let's talk about our chamber meeting for Monday. So yesterday, the Olney Chamber, as part of our Small Business Academy series, we had RMAI from Wichita Falls come out, and they did a lunch and learn about using AI in business. We had a lot of people show up. We were really happy with the attendance. And I think the class was really, really great. What did you think, Gina? Oh my gosh, I thought it was, my mind was just flying with so many new ideas. And when I got home after work, I got on Claude, which I'd never used before, and I came up with some really time-saving routines that I can do with Claude. And it only took me like 20 minutes. Yes. It was really amazing. And I think the most important thing that I learned from the seminar was that there's nothing to be afraid of with AI. And in fact, it can help you do a lot of repetitive tasks that take
a lot of time, and that really the people who do not learn how to use it are the ones that are possibly in danger of losing jobs, because that is the way everything is going.
Right, absolutely. I think that's what's so important to know is that AI still has to have somebody operating it, has to have somebody with the prompts, has to have somebody checking over what it's done, because it's not perfect. And I think that's so important for people to realize is if you get educated and learn how to harness that power, I think that that's how you have your job security. Start learning now. I think it's, it was so great.
It was.
I think one of the greatest things was he sort of reiterated that point that it's not taking the jobs if you're learning, because it still has to have somebody run it.
Exactly.
So I thought that was really cool for people to hear. And also talking about everyday processes, looking at the monotonous tasks that I know all of us have, that you get there for the day, and having these steps in place for the AI to take charge and using it to get yourself all that extra time back.
Yeah, exactly. I think the statistic that he cited was something like 50% of workers' days is doing stuff like answering emails and just very repetitive tasks. And what I thought about immediately was the fact that I have to check every single day all the Facebook pages. I have to do what's called beat checks, which is check in with all the different agencies every day. Most of them communicate via social media. So I'm checking 12 and 15 different Facebook pages. And I can just get Claude to do that. And in fact, I set it up myself. I don't know anything. And I did it in seriously like 20 minutes.
Right. And because this was one of our most attended classes as part of this series, we are going to be working with RMAI to develop a couple more classes that sort of hone in on topics. So if you have some specific request or something that you think would really, really help you using AI, please reach out to us so that way we can work on this curriculum and have a sub-series of using AI in business. So please reach out to us and let us know. I'll be sending out a poll with just a few questions to all of our chamber members, as well as I may be making a couple social media posts as well.
Oh, that sounds so good. And one of my favorite parts of the day was when he asks what people used AI for, and you said, it was you, right? That said, I tell it what's in my refrigerator and come up with a few kid-friendly recipes of what I can do with what I have. I love that.
Yes, absolutely. There's been multiple times where I know as a mother, you just don't want to have to. Picking dinner every day is so just exhausting. And I know you've seen those posts where it's like, whenever I was waiting for my mom to cook dinner, and then I realized I'm the mom and I have to cook dinner. So using AI to say, I have this, what can I make? I mean, I've done it multiple times. Also like workouts. And if you don't, we're in a rural area and there's not a whole lot of spots where you can go ask, but those recipes, and it comes up with good stuff too, because it goes and scours the whole internet for you.
Yeah, no, I didn't even think about that. That was really good.
I have chicken thighs, broth, and some cilantro. Please help me.
I am so doing that.
You have to just check it out.
Yeah.
Like just look at the first three things. And we have a smart fridge. So I can look inside my fridge. I have a camera in there. And so I can I don't even have to get up.
That is awesome. Oh my God. I've always been scared to get those smart appliances. So I thought that they would, start tracking me or something.
Oh, yeah. Well, it tells me when my filter's out, and it orders it for me on Amazon.
That is good. That is good.
And if we were in a different, the Metroplex or a city, they even have it to whenever it sees your ingredients are running low, it'll start an Instacart order for you.
Oh, wow.
I cannot utilize that, but I thought that was pretty neat.
That is really neat.
So everybody, thank you so much that attended yesterday. We hope that everybody can make it for the next ones. And so be on the lookout on our Facebook page for those next classes that are available. And those classes are available to members and non-members. So that was really great. Thank you so much to Hudson's for letting us have it there, because the Civic Center's AC went out. So I was scrambling on Thursday and Friday, finding a place in Hudson's. Dustin was so great to let us in there. Also, thank you to Bill and Doc Pounds from RMAI, that's AURIM, Also to Vanda Queller from Midwestern SBDC, because she has been so vital to creating the curriculum and helping me find all these speakers. And just really, I've worked really closely with her, and she's fantastic. So thank you to our members for attending. Thank you to everybody. I think it was a great class.
Yes, no, it absolutely was. It was very inspiring. All right, well, I guess that's all we got for today.
Yes, thank you to our guest. And
I'm Gina Keating with the Olney Enterprise.
I'm Kimberly Smith of the Olney Chamber of Commerce.
Thank you for listening to Olney on Air.